Hey guys, it is Dani and welcome to this update video on the tropics. And so in this video we're going to be talking about our systems across the North Atlantic. So we have four systems. We have tropical storms Peter and Rose, as well as a disturbance that is out there designated Invest 98L, given a high chance to develop, as well as the remnants of Odette, which could regenerate into a subtropical cyclone. And so before I go into details, Alright, so let's kickstart things with that disturbance. So we have the remnants of Odette being near Newfoundland, and so as of right now it is marked as an area where we could have some potential development taking place. So there is a 30% chance for us to have regeneration of a subtropical cyclone. So once it moves more south into that shaded region, that is where we could see it acquiring some subtropical characteristics and could strengthen into a subtropical storm. So as of now, not expected to be a threat to land when it is going to be making its way down there and moving around, but we'll see what happens afterwards. And even though it might regenerate, it does not have to be something that is going to be strong, because it is so far up in latitude, and usually we don't see storms strengthen to become anything significant when they are so far because of the cooler ocean temperatures. And so guys, now let's go ahead and move on to our tropical cyclones and then 98L. So first up, let us talk about Peter. So as of right now, Peter has sustained winds of 50 miles per hour and it is accelerating to the west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. So it is going to be passing north of the Eastern Caribbean during the next couple of days, and then making a turn up to the north and moving to the north-northeast by the end of this week. And so as of right now, we're not expecting that it is going to be bringing significant impacts to the northeastern Caribbean. So let's look at it on satellite. So here we have it, and we can clearly see that we don't have a whole lot going on with Peter. It's becoming shared, so we don't have a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity, and most of that convection goes off to the east of the center of the cyclone. And so as this is going to be making its way by, however, there is the chance that portions of the northern Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and possibly even Puerto Rico as well could experience some rainfall as a result of this. Major impacts are not anticipated as of right now, because you can clearly see on satellite, Peter is not a strong tropical cyclone, and the center of it is going to be passing north. And so in terms of what our models are expecting for the intensity, they are showing that we're going to eventually have a drop off. Most models show probably by the next couple of days or so it won't be a tropical cyclone and gradually weaken. And some are expecting that it is going to drop off from being a tropical cyclone, then re-strengthen as it makes its way up more to the north. But as of right now, no model is expecting a hurricane, even though we have that one CEMI that is expecting that it is going to go near hurricane status. But we're going with what majority says, and majority says that we're going to be having a weakening cyclone during the next couple of days. And so now let's move on to tropical storm Rose. And so Rose is located well to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands as of now, and on the cone forecast you can see here that it has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, and it is accelerating to the northwest at 15 miles per hour. So it is going to remain a tropical storm throughout most of this week. As we go to the latter part of the week, going to probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're going to have Rose weakening, and fortunately not expected to be a threat to land. And we won't have much change in the intensity of Rose during the next couple of days, because conditions are not the very best right now in terms of favorability for that to happen. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what our models are forecasting in terms of the intensity of Rose. And so we see here that all our models are keeping this as a weak tropical cyclone, so significant strengthening of it is not anticipated during the next couple of days. And so finally, let's go ahead and talk about Invest 98L. So looking at the 5-day outlook from the National Hurricane Center, we're seeing here that it is given a high 70% chance to potentially develop into a tropical cyclone during the next 5 days. And so the chance has been on the rise for this, because yesterday when I made a video it was at around 20%, and now here we have the chance one day later being very high. So it is likely that as time goes by, probably by this weekend or so, we could have another tropical depression or tropical storm. And if it does achieve tropical storm status, it will acquire the name Sam, which is the next name to be used for this hurricane season. And so we're seeing that the general westward track is expected of this. And so is this going to make its way in the Caribbean? So it is possible, but as of right now, I would say the chance is there for that to happen, but the best bet on this would be that it accelerates to the west and makes a turn up to the northwest, just as what we are seeing with Peter. So it could be a track that's similar to that of Peter, but we really have to wait and see what is going to be the eventual outcome with this, and it is definitely one to watch. And so taking a look at it on satellite, we're seeing here that it is a compact system. It is getting organized, and as time goes by, we might see it getting a lot better and having that defined center of circulation for it to be classified as a tropical cyclone. And so now let's go ahead and take a look at conditions across the basin. So let's talk about that wind shear. And so the different colors, they mean different shear intensities. So we have the green, that means favorable, the yellow, that means neutral, and the red, that means unfavorable. So just in the vicinity of Peter, we can clearly see that we have some of that neutral and unfavorable shear setting in. So this is what is keeping Peter from intensifying much, and we don't see a whole lot going on in terms of that convection, especially around the western side of the cyclone, because as we saw on the satellite view, most of that convection goes off to the east of the center of the system. So much intensification is not anticipated with this, but it could remain at 50 miles per hour. We could see some gradual weakening as Peter accelerates up to the northwest and eventually make that northward turn. And so we can clearly see on the edge of the map we have Rose that is being seen here. So Rose is going to be accelerating into a region of unfavorable shear. So we can see all those red lines, which means that there is going to be an increase in the unfavorability for this. So Rose is likely to just gradually weaken as time goes by. But regardless of how strong it is and how strong it might get in the weakening, it is not going to be a threat to land during the next couple of days. So this isn't anything that we should worry about. And so guys, we see here that we have our systems across the Atlantic, and the names are just going out because we have these disturbances just popping up sometimes, and by the next day we see that the chance is very high for them to develop, and then they become named storms. So if we have the formation of Sam, only 3 names will be left on the list for this hurricane season, which are going to be Teresa, Victor, and Wanda. So I would not be surprised, as I said in my previous videos, if we have to turn to the auxiliary list, because I think we'll definitely have 3 more storms between now and the end of November. So we could even have more than that. So we just have to wait and see what's going to be happening in the weeks to come. And so that is it for this update. And if you found it to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share your thoughts with me in the comments or ask a question. I will try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And just remember to always weather wise, and of course I'll keep you updated as time goes by.